Welcome back to lecture series in DC machines and transformer. In last class, we were discussing about the basics and introduction to armature winding. In today's class, we are discussing the main classification of DC generator or DC motors armature winding, that is lap winding and wave winding. So first of all, we are looking into lap winding. Take an example with 4-pole generator with number of slots is denoted as S is equal to 12. This is the same example that we discussed in the last class. So first of all, I want to arrange this machine in lap winding, so that by taking this example, this will be very clear for you. So we are generally drawing like this. We are having 4-pole, north pole, south pole, again one north pole and south pole. So it is in a linear fashion. We are drawing in a linear fashion. The cylindrical machine is opened and placed in a paper. Suppose these are slots. First slot, we are having 3 slots per each pole because pole pitch, that is slots per pole, that is equal to number of slots by number of poles, that is 12 by 4, that is 3. So each pole should have 3 slots under its area, that is the meaning. Each pole spans 3 slots. If you don't watch the last video, I recommend you to watch that video initially. Then only it will make sense. So, I am starting from the first slot. This is the first slot. I am placing one coil, suppose it is AB, in first slot. So, one conductor is placed. For completing the coil, I have to place its finishing end in some other slot. So it is a full pitch coil. This is also explained. Not full. Okay. This is a full pitched winding. So that coil span should be equal to pole pitch. So we are placing first coil in first slot, slot number 1 plus pole pitch. You will get an answer 4. So you have to place the finishing end on 4th slot. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the slot where you have to place the finishing end. In other words, or in simple sense, if you are performing full pitch winding, generally in all DC machines we are performing full pitch winding. If first coil is placed in first slot of north, its finishing end should be placed in first slot of south at similar points, so that I have to place the finishing end in first slot of south. This is the connection. So one coil is over. Now comes the importance of lap winding and wave winding. In lap winding, where I have to place the next coil? There is 2 options actually. I can place here, that is the next north pole, or I can go back to the initial north pole. That is the basic discrimination between lap winding and wave winding. So in lap winding, I am going back to the first north pole. I am not going to the adjacent north pole. So this is beginning end or starting end of first coil. This is finishing end of first coil. Now I am going to draw the second coil in some other color. Okay. So the second coil should be placed in the same north pole. And for making the circuit complete, the finishing end of the first coil should be connected to beginning end of second coil. This is also beginning end or starting end. So where I have to place the finishing end of the second coil? Obviously, as full pitched winding, I have to place in the same point of south pole. So, second slot of south pole. This is okay. And this connection will go to commutator. We know what is commutator, such things are known to you. So, I am not explaining those things. Suppose I know there is 12 slots, so if I am going to engage the third conductor slot also, then a third winding should be placed on the third slot of the same north pole. I am not going to the adjacent north pole. Okay. Then I have to connect this winding back to the finishing end. So, the finishing end of second coil is connected back to beginning end of third coil. First coil, second coil, third coil. And for the completion, I know that where I have to place the finishing end of third coil. Where I have to place the finishing end of third coil? Because the beginning end of third coil is placed in the third slot of north pole. So, the third slot of south pole should engage its finishing end. Like that. Connection should be here. That will be going to its commutator segment. Similarly, for the next pair of poles also, I have to do the same practice. Here I will draw easily because you know what is the procedure. This is first coil. Its finishing end is connected to beginning end of second coil. Second coil get completed here. That finishing end is connected to beginning end of third coil. Third coil get completed and so on. And we are having the commutators here. So, each segment is connected to commutator. Now, I am going to the definition of lap winding. So, what is lap winding? Under each pair of pole, we are creating a separate set of winding. In other words, or as a definition, I will tell you, you can note down the definition. In lap winding, finishing end of first coil, this is finishing end of first coil, is connected to beginning end of second coil under the same north pole. I will repeat, in lap winding, finishing end of first coil is connected to beginning end of second coil under same north pole. We are not moving to the adjacent north pole. That is the definition. Next important thing, while applying Fleming's right hand rule, by assuming a clockwise direction of rotation for the rotor, we got some current direction. Under north pole it was cross and under south pole it was dot. If you have any doubts, you can check the second video lecture, that is working of DC generator using Fleming's right hand rule. So, cross means we got that the current was traveling from A to B, and dot means it was traveling from C to D. You have to keep this notation in your mind. So, here you are not speaking anything about the rotation, but if you are rotating the rotor in clockwise, then only you will get this notation. If you are rotating in anti-clockwise, what happened? Under north pole you will get dot, and under south pole you will get cross. It will reverse. So, in my lectures, I am always assuming for a generator I am rotating in clockwise direction, so that I will get cross in conductor under north pole. So all the three conductors are placed in north pole. They will get cross. Cross means current will pass towards inside, that is upside. All the conductor under north pole are carrying current in upside direction. So if this current is upside, what happens in its corresponding south side conductor? It will go downside. For second coil also like this. Okay. In any circuit where you want to apply Fleming's right hand rule, you don't need to apply in both conductor. If in one conductor on north pole it is cross, then correspondingly under south pole you will get dot only. So here also you will get cross or upward in north or downward in south. Okay. Now an important conclusion about parallel paths. For the time being, you cannot understand the exact concept of parallel path. Okay. For the time being, you cannot understand the exact concept of parallel path. For understanding that, you need to draw all the complete winding diagram. That we will discuss later. Anyhow, for counting parallel path from this form of basic diagram, I will tell you one easy method, that is, if a same current is going towards upside under north pole, all the conductors are carrying same magnitude of current, and that three currents are actually connected. So the upside current you can count it as one parallel path, and the corresponding downside conductors you can count as second parallel path. Again, this is different. This is in between different pair of poles. So for this one, you have to count this as another parallel path, third parallel path, and this one as fourth parallel path. So you will get 4 parallel paths in this system. Suppose if you are having only 2 poles, what happens? You will get 2 parallel paths. In this example, we are having 4 poles. So 4 parallel paths. A is the notation for parallel path. Suppose it is 8 poles, you will get 8 parallel paths. So what is the conclusion? What is the conclusion? In lap winding, number of parallel path A is equal to number of poles P. In lap winding, number of parallel paths A is equal to number of poles P. That is the important conclusion. One more thing you have to keep in mind, this is for simplex lap winding. Simplex lap winding. If a lap winding is simply said as just as lap winding, and they are not specifying like simplex or duplex, triplex, etc., then you have to take that as simplex lap winding. In that case, number of parallel path is equal to P. Or generally for lap winding, number of parallel path is equal to number of poles. There is another complication, duplex lap winding, that also we will deal with while we are drawing the entire winding diagram. In that case, for duplex lap, A is equal to 2 into P. That is not a common case that you have to deal with, but you have to keep this thing in mind. But generally, we are always talking about lap winding or simplex lap winding. We will not tell specifically about simplex or duplex. In that case, number of parallel path is equal to number of poles. Okay. The concept of parallel path I will discuss after discussing the wave winding also. I will tell you what is actually a parallel path. That I will tell in the last. Now I am going to discuss about wave winding. So the same example, 4 pole system, north south, 4 pole system with 12 slots. You can see 12 slots, 3 slots per pole. Pole pitch is equal to number of slots by number of poles, 3 slots. So you are performing again, you are performing full pitch winding. So coil span should be equal to pole pitch. So what is the coil span? You are placing from 1 to 4. The coil span is 1, 2, 2 and a half, 3. So 3 is the coil span. In other words, the starting end is placed at first slots plus pole pitch 3. You will get the number of slot that you have to use for placing the finishing end. So the coil span is nothing but pole pitch here. So such a winding is known as full pitched winding. So first coil is over, starting end and finishing end. Now the question comes, where you have to place the second coil. In the previous case of lap winding, you place the second coil in the same north pole. But in wave winding, you are going to place the second coil in adjacent north pole. And it is on the adjacent similar point also. Again on the first slot. So you have to connect it. Finishing end of first coil is connected to beginning end of second coil under adjacent north pole. It is starting end or beginning end of first coil, finishing end of first coil, starting end or beginning end of second coil. So finishing end of first coil is connected to beginning end of second coil under adjacent north pole. That is the one and only difference in the definition. So I will once again tell the definition. Wave winding is a winding in which finishing end of first coil is connected to beginning end of second coil under adjacent north pole. This was the first north pole, but now we are moving to the adjacent north pole. Of course, where I have to place the finishing end of second coil, as the pole pitch is 3, and now you are starting in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 7. You have to add 7 plus coil pole pitch. You have to go to 10. This is the 10. And similarly, you know that as it is full pitch winding, coil span should be equal to pole pitch. So similar end should be used. Similar points of adjacent pole should be used. So if you are starting at the first slot of north pole, for placing the finishing end, anyhow you have to go to the first slot of south pole. First slot of north pole to first slot of south pole. If you are standing in second slot of north pole, then you have to go to second slot of south pole for placing finishing end. So now I am placing the finishing end in the first slot of south pole. So two coils are placed, and again the winding will come back to the first north to south pole second slot. That we are not we are not doing the entire drawing. Actually you will get like this. You have to go to this slot again, second slot again. Then what happened? You have to do the same work again. Okay. I will draw it like this. But I don't suggest you to draw the second step. You have to show the first slot usage only. Second slot usage you can draw like as I did, but that is not needed in your notebook. So this is the way of wave winding. You can also perform in the third loop also, like this end is going, that we will take from here, and now you can draw the third winding. Now it is perfect. You have used all the slots. But what is the difference? And these connections will go to commutator. Okay. Okay, here segments will be here like this. So what is the definition? Finishing end of first coil is connected to beginning end of second coil under adjacent north pole. And now comment about the number of parallel paths. What was our previous conclusion? All north pole you have to mark upside, all south pole you will mark downside. Again north pole upside, south pole downside. But what is the difference here? In this north pole and in this north pole, the winding is directly connected. So if you are counting this as first parallel path, and as these currents are going towards downside, you can calculate this as second parallel path. But this one and this one are exactly identical. In previous case they were detached, but in this case they are connected. So these both are same in magnitude and in direction. So you have to take, and these are connected also. So you have to take this group of conductors also as first parallel path. Again this is first parallel path. This is also going downside but exactly same as this parallel path. So this is also same as second parallel path. If I am having 4 more poles, then also the same thing will repeat. You will get the same up current and same down current. In other words, you have to say that the number of parallel path A is independent on poles. A is always 2 for wave winding. A is always 2 for wave winding. So in lap winding, you are counting first group as first parallel path upside, and the conductors in south are grouped as second parallel path, and these set and these set were not directly connected. That's why the third the second north pole will contribute another parallel path. But here this current is actually directly connected to these conductors. That's why you have to take this group of conductors same as these conductors current. So as both the currents are same, you cannot take it as another parallel path. You have to take this parallel path same as these conductors, and these conductors are carrying same current, so you have to take it as same parallel path. But you have to understood one thing, this is not the exact way of understanding of parallel path. For you to remember these things, this is one shortcut I am explaining to you. You don't take this as an exact way of representing parallel path. But this conclusion is important. Number of parallel path is 2. It's always 2 for wave winding. Now I will explain what is parallel path. Suppose we are having total number of conductor, that is generally denoted as Z, as 100, and we are using a 4-pole generator with lap winding. So as it is lap winding, we know that number of parallel path is equal to number of poles. So number of parallel path is equal to 4. So the concept is that if you are just forget about the shape of the rotor and everything, just look whether the conductors are connected in series or not. In a machine, if you are take all the armature winding by removing the rotor and all the armature winding in your hand and check the connections, you will see some of the conductors will be connected in series, and such series conductors are arranged further in parallel fashion. That is, if we are having 4 parallel paths, it will be looking like this. If we are removing the armature winding from the slots and you are representing drawing in a paper, You can see this is one conductor. This is another conductor. Say this is a coil. I am drawing coils. Because if we are having 100 conductors, how many coils? It will be 50 coil, because one starting end and one finishing end will contribute one coil. So number of coil is equal to number of conductors by 2. So this is one parallel path, and we are having total 4 parallel paths. And we can simply see these conductors are connected in series. Inside a parallel path, the conductors are connected in series. That is the concept. This is not the exact number I am drawing. I am just demonstrating it. So, we are having 4 parallel paths. First parallel path, second parallel path, third parallel path, fourth parallel path. So, can you guess how many conductors will be there inside each parallel path? Yeah, it is very easy, because total number of conductors is 100. Z is equal to 100 divided by number of parallel path, 4. That will give 25. So, you can see 25 conductors will be there in each parallel path. Now let me ask you, how many series conductors are there? In each parallel path, 25 series conductors are there. In the next parallel path also, there will be 25 series conductors, like that. This is the meaning of parallel path. Okay. So, now I will give you a simple exercise. Convert this machine into a wave winded machine. Convert this machine into a wave connected machine. What is the peculiarity of a wave connected machine? Wave means number of parallel path is always 2. So the net equivalent circuit will be having only 2 parallel paths. The machine will be having only 2 parallel paths. Okay. Is it clear? So, what will the conductor per parallel path? Conductor per parallel path is equal to, in this case it is 100 by 2. This is 50. 50 conductors will be there in each parallel path. Okay. So this concept is very important for EMF equation. That is, in wave connected, the same machine is converted to wave. At that time, conductor per parallel path increases. Conductor per parallel path increases. That is, series connected conductors, number of series connected conductors increases. So if series connection increases, what happens? Current will be same, but voltage increases. Voltage in each parallel path will be more in this connection, because in series voltage will get added up. So here 50 times voltage will add up, where in this connection 25 times voltage will get added up. So voltage in parallel path will be high for this connection. But for all the parallel paths, voltage will be same. In parallel, voltage will be same, current will be adding up. In series, current will be same, voltage will be adding up. So this is the concept of parallel paths. This is very important. You please write down these examples in your notebook. We have to use this thing in EMF equation derivation. Okay, hope you all enjoyed this video. So we'll meet in the next class. Thank you.